My boyfriend stood up to my father. Now my parents are getting divorced. My father is the classic misogynistic golden child a-hole. His parents pretty much worshipped him and ruined him to the point where my aunts and uncles have cut him and us out of their lives. Last time I saw them was when my little sister was born. He runs his own company, so I think it's pretty safe to say that he has never heard the word no in his life. Mom, little sister, who's 17, and myself, female 28, were essentially his servants. He would sit in his chair, drink adult soda, and order us around, scream and yell at us. Mom was afraid of him, sis and myself too. Plus, we grew up that way, and all three of us hated it. I've begged my mom to divorce him for years, but she didn't want to because she didn't want to share custody with him and leave us. And later, just sis, to be treated like crap when we would have to go to him. I absolutely understand why she didn't and appreciate her wanting to protect us even if I didn't agree with her method. That all changed December 24th. My boyfriend, 32, and I have been together for 1.5 years, roughly. So this was our first Christmas where we celebrated together. Small note on boyfriend, he is not afraid of anyone and hates disrespect with a passion. We walk into my parents' house and dad is in his chair while mom is working on dinner in the kitchen. Boyfriend goes to mom to greet her and complimented her on the decorations. Massive smile from mom, and he greeted dad second. That pissed off dad, but boyfriend has always greeted my mom first unless dad is significantly closer to him. Dad has complained to me about it because he is the man of the house and should be greeted first and more BS like that. My boyfriend has told me that this is how he was raised by an amazing woman, single mom of 2, older sister and him, and he's not changing anything, and I don't see why he should. Boyfriend took an interest in mom's cooking, which smelled amazing, and I saw mom light up like I have not seen before, answering questions, explaining things, sharing tips between them. He is a really good cook too. Absolutely lovely to see. We sat down in the living room, sis came downstairs and joined us, had a great time together, and pretty much ignored dad, who was glued to the TV as usual. My mom asked if anyone wanted something to drink, and boyfriend jumped up and said, "You've worked hard on the food, it's your time to relax, I'll get it." And he took our order and went into the kitchen. Dad wanted adult soda. Boyfriend asked him what adult soda he wanted since there are a lot of different ones in the fridge, and dad said in an angry tone, "Just grab one, I don't care." Boyfriend comes back with a bottle of wine and 2 glasses for mom and myself in one hand, and sister's drink in the other, went back into the kitchen to grab the adult soda and his own drink. With the adult soda on the table in front of dad, dad stands up and yells, "That's it, I will not be disrespected like this in my own house." Mom, sis, and me just shrunk, but boyfriend turned around and said, "I asked what adult soda you wanted and you said just grab one. What's the problem?" Dad, "It's not about the adult soda. I got served last in my own house. You will not disrespect me like that." Boyfriend, "First off, I got served last. In fact, I've not even put my drink down. And what did you want me to do? Did you want me to," he actually did air quotes for this, "disrespect your wife or your daughters instead? I have 2 hands. Both were full." And he turned around and sat down. Dad tried to respond, but just stuttered and pretty much ran upstairs. Boyfriend continued the conversation like nothing happened until dad slammed the door, and boyfriend said, "Well, that door is shut," and broke the tension, and we laughed. It was like that was the moment that something changed for my mom. A bit later, we sat down for dinner. I went to get dad and told him that dinner was ready, and he snarled, "I'm not coming." We used to beg him to come down, not the first time he's pulled this stunt. But after seeing boyfriend stand up to him, I just said, "Okay," and went back down. We had an amazing dinner with mom, boyfriend, sis, and myself. Afterwards, we sat down in the living room for gifts. Mom went up to get dad again and came back down not even 30 seconds later and sat on the floor with us to open the gifts. We had so much fun opening the gifts, laughing, drinking, throwing wrapping paper at each other, just having fun without a care in the world, which I've never seen mom do. Hours later, boyfriend and I were heading back home. Mom pulled us both in for a massive hug. Seriously, massive mom hugs are something else. And thanked us for the best Christmas she has had in years. While driving home, sis texted me a picture of her and mom on the floor watching a movie surrounded by a mess, which is weird because mom always had to clean and keep everything perfect, or dad would yell and call her or us lazy. But mom was cleaning it tomorrow. Yes, mom! That all leads to today. Mom called and asked if her and sis could come over to discuss something. They arrived, and wow! My mom has had simple mid-black hair, no color, no flavor, just as simple as possible for as long as I've been alive. But now, shoulder-length bob with some lowlights, absolutely stunning. All the sadness and fear on her face gone. Still mom, but an absolutely gorgeous version of mom. She told us that she's going to see a divorce lawyer on the 9th and will try to find a place and move out as soon as possible. After a long discussion on how she wants to do everything, we asked her why now. And she said, and I'm proud and so effing happy that she said this, "At Christmas, something changed for me. To see boyfriend's name stand up to dad like that, and the way boyfriend always treats you, your sister, and me with so much love and respect. Boyfriend actually treats me like I'm my own person, and I've not felt like that in a long time. With you two, I'm mom, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love being mom for you two, but I'm more than just mom. I was either mom or dad's wife, which is true. He would always introduce her as my wife, a name, never name, my wife. Might not seem like a big deal, but to her, it is and was. I have not been the mom's actual name, not just mom, in a long time. I've had enough. I'm not letting him treat me like this anymore. I'm not in love with him anymore. In fact, I haven't been in love for a very long time. I don't even have love for him anymore. But sis is old enough now, and with the 2 of you and boyfriend's name with me, I can do it. Oh, I'm so proud of my mom for standing up for herself now. I'm so happy that my boyfriend was able to make her feel like her own person again when he didn't even try. I'm so happy that mom and sis and myself never have to be treated like crap by that man again. I am just so effing happy. This is amazing. That is the end of that story. My brother-in-law uninvited my wife to the wedding, so I stole her gift back. My wife, Lena, crochets a lot and often gifts it to friends and family. When her second oldest brother got married, she made the bride a shawl to wear over her dress in the evening. The bride loved it, and ever since, Lena has made shawls for everyone in her family getting married. By the way, this comes from Wedding Shawl, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, now Lena's oldest brother, George, is getting married again. Lena doesn't have a relationship with George as he was awful to her as a child, but if she has to see him, then she is polite but distant with him. She doesn't want to cut off the rest of her family because of George. I work with George, and while we aren't friends, we are friendly at work. Lena encouraged this. When George got moved to my team, I was going to request a transfer, not wanting to expose Lena to George, as my team do a lot of get-togethers with our significant others. As it is a family wedding, Lena's mom asked her if she could crochet a shawl for George's fiancé, and Lena agreed. Oh. It was arranged that once it was finished, I would take it to work to give it to George so that Lena didn't have to see him. Earlier this week, the shawl was completed, and I emailed George at work to let him know that I would bring it in today, as the wedding is tomorrow. When I got into work this morning, I gave George the shawl and let him know that Lena and I were looking forward to the wedding. Come lunchtime, Lena called me to let me know that George's fiancé had called her and told her that she was no longer invited to the wedding, citing the place they're having the wedding and the reception at is too small for the number they have coming. So they're having to make cutbacks. However, I was still invited to the wedding. I was mad at this because they clearly only invited Lena to get a shawl, which to me is just rude. If they had asked Lena outright to make one, she probably would have done it because she loves to crochet. On my way out of work, I noticed George wasn't at his desk, but the shawl was. I was still mad that they had used Lena to get a shawl, and I just shoved it in my work bag. I left a note on his desk telling George since Lena was no longer invited, the shawl and I would no longer be attending either. On my way home, I told Lena what I had done and asked her if she wanted to go out instead so as not to waste having a sitter. Lena was upset that I had taken the shawl as it was causing an uproar in her family group chat, where people were calling her petty because I took it back. Lena wants me to give it back. I don't think I should. They don't deserve Lena's kindness. However, at the same time, I don't want Lena to be upset with me over George and a shawl. Am I the a-hole for taking back the shawl? And little edit, I have messaged the group chat letting them know that I took it, and if they should be pissed at anyone, then it should be me, but I would also do it again because no one gets to be a wiener to Lena. And there is an update, so everyone will be glad to know that I have not given George back the shawl. I mean, part of the reason I haven't given it back is because he's on his honeymoon. I hope it is rain for the 2 weeks. But even if he wasn't, I still wouldn't give it back. Later that evening, Lena apologized for being mad at me. She said that she should have never agreed to make the shawl in the first place and was grateful I had taken it back. Okay. Lena and I had a long discussion about her family and how they treat her. I told her that I would always stand up for her when it comes to her family because I will stand strong when she can't. I asked her what she thought about going lower contact. We were already low contact with George, his now wife, and her mom. Lena said that she wanted to go no contact with George, his wife, her mom, and to go low contact with everyone else but her second oldest brother and his wife. We'll call them Michael and Sarah. She said she wanted to do this because of how toxic the group chat has become, which she has now left and has shown me that she has left and deleted the chat. We have both blocked everyone but Michael and Sarah. I'm going to wait a couple of weeks before I broach therapy for Lena again. I just want the dust to settle a bit, as I don't want her to feel pushed into anything. The story the wife gave Lena about there not being enough space was BS. Michael confirmed that George had told him weeks ago that they were well under the numbers for their venue. It was just a crap attempt at a power move. I know some Redditors were concerned about my work life after I took the shawl. I spoke with my manager and told him that Lena had made a shawl for George's wife, but they had given a crap reason for uninviting her to the wedding the day before the wedding, and I took it back. When I told my manager this, he sighed heavily before telling me that he wished I hadn't taken the shawl because George could make things difficult for me, but that he would have done exactly the same thing because George is a nightmare. I told him that I'd like to move to another team because it wasn't good for Lena to have to be around him. He told me to leave it with him and he could see what he could do. I'd have moved when George was first put on my team, but Lena encouraged me not to, as she didn't want me to rock the boat with her family. I heard back on Monday that I will be getting moved to another team at the end of the week. This other team is desperate for someone, so when my manager reached out to other managers to see if anyone had an internal vacancy, this manager bit his arm off. The day of the wedding, Michael called Lena and asked what our plans had been for the day. Michael knew that Lena wasn't invited to the wedding and rightly assumed I wouldn't go if she wasn't welcome. Lena told him that we had planned to go out for dinner and drinks. Michael told her that sounded like a plan and to text him where we were going for dinner. Nice! Michael and Sarah had decided to skip the wedding after seeing the meltdown of George, his wife, and their mom in the group chat. Apparently, they continued spouting Lena even though she had left the group chat.
When the family turned on me and our children was when Michael and Sarah decided they weren't going to the wedding at all. They were just going to go to the ceremony after Lena had been uninvited. They messaged George to tell them their flight had been delayed and they wouldn't be able to make it. Their flight wasn't delayed, it was just the excuse they used, and George never responded. Michael had seen George's of Lena firsthand. He had tried to protect Lena where he could, but there was only so much he could do as a child himself, and he didn't want to be on the receiving end of George's temper either. As an adult, he took the first chance he had to move away from his family while only maintaining contact with Lena. So we went out with Michael and Sarah, having a much better night than we would have done at the wedding. There were no snide comments, no belittling, nothing. Lena was happy as she got to see Sarah, and that was what she was looking forward to. Lena being happy was all I wanted. It's all I ever want. My family to be happy. Aww! Both Michael and Sarah's phones did keep going off all night, as mother-in-law and George kept messaging them, angry at their non-attendance, especially after Michael posted a picture of the four of us together having drinks on Facebook, with a caption about how he was choosing Lena over George going forward because she doesn't use people to get what they want, like George did over a crochet shawl. Michael admitted to me later that he did this to anger George because he'd have a meltdown at the reception and then his in-laws could see what a butt he actually is. Given the gleeful messages I got from Michael last week after he had heard back from a cousin who attended, George had a complete meltdown. Lena knows about this post, but she's not comfortable with me posting pictures of her work. She considered unraveling the shawl, but she found it too difficult to undo all her hard work, which I understand. It's the very reason I didn't unravel it myself and tell George it was an IKEA shawl. Well, that, and I didn't want to face a mad Lena. After talking with Sarah about what to do with it, she has decided that she's going to keep it, but she'll dye it. Michael suggested that she wears it to the family Christmas. We aren't going to see Lena's family at Christmas, so it won't be happening anyway. Michael and I are at the same level of pettiness as I had previously suggested, as some people commented on my original post, that I could wear it to work when George is back. I didn't show Lena many of the comments. She doesn't need to know that people are calling her a doormat or saying she needs to grow a spine. Those people clearly have now their spirit completely broken by the people who are meant to love them unconditionally, or were completely cut out of the family events. When George graduated from uni, Lena was left at home. She was 8 years old and left home alone all day. Christmas was spent mostly in her bedroom because her grandmother didn't want Lena around, as her presence would just upset George, until she was 14. Then she would sneak out and spend it with me and my family. Lena was just left out of everything. Her dad used to work away from home a lot, so he had no idea what was going on. He just assumed Lena liked her own space. Not that she would just stay in her room because she was used to being neglected by her family. And that's the end of that story. My wife begged me to sleep with her friend, and it's messing with me. My wife, 29 female of 3 years, 10 years together, and have what I, 29 male, think is a solid marriage and spicy life. A long time ago, she asked me if there was any of our mutual friends I was attracted to. I told her that I only had eyes for her. She said she was serious and said she wanted to know names. I refused to answer. By the way, this comes from throwaway574584, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. She's kept trying to get me to tell her, and eventually I broke and said a name. She then asked if I would sleep with her, 27 female. I told her of course not. She then asked if I would if we weren't married. I still said no. My wife said I was lying, and she kept pushing me to answer otherwise. I again just gave up and said sure, if I wasn't in love with her, I'd sleep with her friend. That was the end of the conversation. Over the last few months, the friend had come up in conversation. My wife specifically has been comparing herself to her. Like she'll make a comment on how said friend has a better butt than her, or is more well endowed than her. I'll always tell her that she's better looking, but she won't believe me. I get the feeling she's very upset that I said that, and is now jealous of her friend because she caught my attention. 3 weeks ago, my wife offered to get me and her friend together. I was taken aback and asked her what the F she was talking about. She then said that she knew I wanted to sleep with her, and that I thought she was better looking than her, and she would understand and wouldn't care if we slept together once. I told her that she was speaking crazy, and that I wasn't into her friend. She then said that it's not gonna hurt her feelings if I am, and that she really thinks that I should accept her offer. I told her no, and she legitimately asked me if I would F her friend. I again said no, this is exhausting. I asked why she wants this. She said it wasn't some weird, spicy desire, that she just wanted me to be satisfied. I told her that I couldn't sleep with another woman. She had been asking me to do this for a while now, and she even told me that the friend is open if I am, which bothers me that she told her friend about this. She really wants me to do this for some odd reason and isn't letting it go. I'm tempted just to do it, so I don't have to hear it again, but I really don't want to sleep with anyone other than my wife. Dude, you're insane. But apparently she's all for me banging a friend that she is jealous of. No, she's not, you idiot. This is such a strange situation, I'm really at a loss. Can anyone tell me why she's like this or what I should do? You're stupid. Human riff, I'm tempted just to do it so I don't have to hear it again. I guarantee that you will hear about it ever so slightly more if you do it. Literally. There's 3 things possibly going on here. Your wife is suffering from a lack of self-worth and feels she cannot make you happy and is trying to push you towards someone else. Verdict, unlikely. 2. Your wife is manipulative and is testing you. So far, you have failed. You have revealed that you would F her friend if she wasn't in the picture. Verdict, highly possible. 3. Your wife has F'd your best friend and is trying to manipulate you into sleeping with her friend to make things even and relieve your wife of any guilt or questionable morals. Verdict, also highly possible. OP says, I doubt the third one. I only have one friend that isn't divorced due to infidelity, so I doubt they'd be down with sleeping with her. My wife also hates cheating and cheaters. The second one could be entirely possible. I thought I would have passed the test when I said I didn't find her friends attractive, but she kept pushing, and I just gave answers to get her off a topic she wouldn't let go. Just Joey says, or she could have eyes on or be flirting with another man and wants you to F the other girl so she can F the other guy with no guilt. I read a lot of posts recently where the wife asks the husband if he'd F someone else if given a free pass. It always turns out it's because she already has her eyes on some other guy or is already effing some other guy and wants to make it equal. I don't know what to tell you. Maybe snoop on her phone a little and see what you find. Check her social media for anything suspicious. It could be nothing but a spicy desire, but you never know. OP says, I guess it's something to look into, but I doubt it. Deleted says, if it's not a spicy hobby, it sounds like a test. And there is an update, folks. 3 days later, after reading all the comments, I had an idea of what I needed to say to her. I wanted to make sure my feelings came across as clearly as possible, so I spent some time writing what I planned to say. What I said was, wife, I love you more than anything in this world. I don't want anyone except for you. I happily swore to you that I would be yours and yours alone for the rest of our lives. That's what I want. I don't want to be with your friend. She is nothing compared to what you mean to me. I need you to tell me why you're doing this. Even if it hurts me, I need to know why. No matter what it is, we can work through it, and it won't make me stop loving you. I just need you to be honest with me. I confronted her the night I posted after we both got off work. She started weeping. She cheated. She said she was so sorry for being like this and that she couldn't help it. I cried with her and comforted her. After the tears stopped, she told me why she was doing this. Unlike many of you said, she was not cheating on me. In fact, she assumed the opposite would happen eventually. She said, I was doing this because I'd rather you F around with her because she won't try to steal you from me. I was blown away that she said something like that. I asked her why she felt that anyone could ever take me from her. She said that since we've been together for 10 years and we have only ever had spicy sleep with each other, she thought that eventually I'd get bored of her and want to find someone new to sleep with. I told her that I'd never get bored of her, and she will be the only one forever. She said that she knows how men are, and she was worried that now that we're getting older, I'm gonna cheat on her with someone younger. She then told me how she feels so unattractive. She mentioned that she had been gaining weight, which I didn't give an F about, and how she's not sure if she'll be able to pull off the tricks she does in bed for the rest of our lives. I told her that she is amazing in bed and blows my mind every single time. I then told her that even if we didn't have spicy sleep, I wouldn't run off to be with some younger woman. She again cried into my shoulder and said she can't believe that I'd still want her after a decade. I assured her again that she's the only person I want for the rest of my life. As of right now, I'm encouraging her to get therapy for herself, and we're going to try a little couples counseling. I don't think this is much of a roadblock in our relationship, but it couldn't hurt to look into professional help. Agreed, and maybe go to a doctor and take a pregnancy test.